Okay, folks, here is the first thing to do when you're considering downsizing. This is the 7 vital points for empty nesters they should keep in mind before selling their home this time. Okay, so the first one for me is probably evaluate your current needs. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, take stock of your lifestyle and assess your requirements. Assess how your requirements have actually changed since your children have left the nest. Consider factors like the space, the maintenance that you've got to do, the accessibility that will shape your ideal downsized Fife home. Now, most people will know, and if you don't know already, I've already bought my home to downsize to, and I currently rent it out just now because there will be some point in the future that I'll downsize to this one. Now, the things that I took in mind there was, the kids will be away. Well, they're no kids anymore. They're in their mid-20s. One of them's coming up for their 30s. So, yeah, it just flies by. So eventually, they'll obviously leave the house and you'll be left in a big, massive house. I've got a 6-bedroom, 2 reception detached on 1,500 square meters. So there's a lot of space to maintain and look after. I do not want to do that when I'm going into my, well, I'm 56 just now, but I don't want to do that into my 60s and stuff. If they're still here, they're still here. I suppose they'll be here for that reason. But I will at some point downsize. Now, the key things I looked for in downsizing was exactly what I said to here. Was the maintenance. I mean, my next back garden's going to be the size almost like a postage stamp. So I literally have a small, tiny lawn to mow, a few bits of bedded areas where I could do some flowers or roses or something like that, and a bit of pebbling round about with a shed in the corner. Job done. Easy gig. Nothing like what I've got just now. But that's how, because then as you get older, you tend, let's be honest, it tends to get a bit more difficult to do everything. Stairs, a classic example as well. So I've looked at things like we have now got a bungalow, and it can adapt to go upstairs, and that's fine. But I don't think I'll ever do that. It's a 2-bedroom semi-detached. And it's in a nice area, it's a nice outlook, and it took a lot of years to find this property. So we've managed to find the perfect property. But that's what I'm saying. We've considered the things like the space. Do we actually need all these rooms now? The maintenance involved. Do we need to really do a massive garden? Do we honestly need that? Now, I've got 9 cats. Yes, you heard right. I did say 9 cats. And I've got 1 hen, Henny Penny. She's still going strong. So we need somewhere to keep them. So this is why we'll not downsize too early because they need space. And I'm not very sure if 9 cats will fit into a 2-bedroom semi-detached. Definitely not. So it's going to be a number of years before that's going to happen, I suppose. So it's all about the accessibility. And then the stairs as well was a classic example because I see it so many times where I go to see people want to downsize. And usually, typically, the first reasons that they actually give me, and this is how I've learned these lessons so early on, and I've actually planned for it now for the future, maybe 10 years' time when I'll do that, is because most of the time, the reasons are the garden's just too big now. It's too much to clean the house constantly all the time. Most of these rooms are sitting empty now. And the other one is it's just the stairs. The stairs is the next one. It's primary in everybody's concern. Is always about the stairs. That's what comes up next. There'll be some point in time where I can't manage the stairs, or people say I don't see myself being able to manage the stairs in a year's time. You should be looking at possibly planning for downsizing now. Because you don't want to leave it till last minute, and you don't want to leave it till you're in a position where you have to just accept the first house that comes along because it's good enough for your needs, but it's not nice enough. It's not actually the home that you really wanted to downsize to, but it's more practical rather than actually for the benefits you wanted from it, the niceties and the area and everything like that as well. So these are the things. That's the first thing you've got to think about is evaluate your current needs. So the next one for me is probably financial planning. Downsizing actually can be a great opportunity to free up equity and reduce expenses. There's another reason I get when I go out to people all the time. They come up with this. I've got this huge amount of equity built up in my property. If I downsize, I could release a lot of that equity and I could do something with it. I could maybe help the children out. I could maybe help the grandchildren out. I could maybe actually plan a bit more. I could maybe have a better holiday. I could maybe plan a bit more for the future. I could be mortgage free. You'd be amazed at how many people have just got a small mortgage to pay and then think to themselves, okay, well, I could maybe just downsize into a smaller property and actually a less expensive property. And therefore, I could be mortgage free. I could have more cash every single month in my pocket. So it's the financial planning as the second reason that most people will want to consider downsizing. And it can be a great opportunity, as I said. Now, consult a financial advisor to understand the implications and the benefits of selling your current home. Ensure a smooth transition to you. This will ensure a smooth transition to your next phase, and the next phase in your life, in terms of where you want to go next, what you want to do, the time that you want to free up for yourself. The third one for me is location. It's quite an important one, actually. Research the neighbourhoods and where you want to move to in the Fife area that align with your preferences. This is what I talked about in the first one about currently evaluating your needs. It's actually location does matter. You don't want to leave considering downsizing or planning for downsizing. If you're planning for downsizing in the next 2 or 3 years, you need to speak to us now and actually just get the ball rolling. So one of the things that you do is come to terms with actually downsizing, because it's a huge transition. It's literally, look at what I've got. I've got a 6-bedroom, 2-reception, detached home. How much clutter have I got? And I'm going to talk about that. But these are the sort of things you've got to phase yourself into this. And it is going to take a phasing of maybe 2 or 3 years to do it. So you don't want to leave it all to the last minute and put yourself under extreme pressure in terms of what you need to do next. So if it's location you're looking for and you want a specific location, it's probably going to take a wee while for that to come up. Now, remember, there's other people out there want that same location as you. So you have to be more vigilant. You have to be more prepared for that opportunity to appear. I mean, the point of readiness is when preparation and opportunity appears. And that's when the magic happens for you, for getting your next home, for getting the exact one you want. It took us 5 years to get a 2-bedroom semi-detached bungalow. 5 years of waiting for that right property to come up. It ticked all these boxes that we wanted. That's why it's important to plan for it now. And if it's about location, then that's what you want to do. Research the neighbourhoods that align with your preferences. Look for the amenities, the proximity to friends and family, the healthcare facilities, the recreational activities that enhance your quality of life. By the way, it's not a dress rehearsal. You're only going round once. So make sure you plan for it and get it right. Get all the things you really want out of this. Okay, the fourth one for me is right-sizing your space. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, analyze the space you actually need rather than you want. So what do I mean by that? Well, want is, yeah, it'd be nice if I had another extra bedroom to have, a home office or a craft studio. But does that extra bedroom come with a huge cost for such a minimal amount of time that you're going to use that room? So this is what I talk about right-sizing your space, plus the fact you're going to pay for it all the time. One of the things I did in the early years is I bought a 3-bedroom semi-detached bungalow, again, actually, 3-bedroom semi-detached bungalow, overlooked the whole of the area, panoramic views from up on the hill. It was an absolutely fantastic one. And I had one room that sat with my junk in it for the next 3 or 4 years. And that's all the room did. It just had junk in it all the time. We never really needed it, but we wanted it. But we didn't need it. And I came to a point where I thought, I'm paying for this room. I'm paying extra council tax. I'm paying extra heating. I'm paying extra on my mortgage because I've got another room I don't even use. So I got to a point where I thought, I've had enough. I'm going to downsize from that 3-bedroom. So I downsized from that time to a 2-bedroom apartment because that's all we needed. So it was more what we needed rather than what we wanted, it we planned for. And it's the same when you're looking to downsize and you're planning for the future. For what you want. That's the sort of things you've got to think. What do I need for my space rather than what I want? And explore the options that suit your requirements. It doesn't, what I would say though, It doesn't necessarily mean to say that you're sacrificing your comfort. You could have the property that you need, and instead of having that extra room that you want, you then take that money otherwise that you would have got for that extra room and actually make what you've needed, the two bedroom possibly rather than the 3-bedroom, a lot more luxurious and a lot more comfortable with the same amount of money. You can't take it with you, by the way. So you may as well spend it now, or invest it now, or give it to your children now. It's no going with you. So downsizing doesn't necessarily mean sacrificing comfort. It's all about finding the right Fife home that matches your lifestyle and actually promotes your ease of living. So the 5th one out of this 7 it's got here is decluttering and simplifying. This is the one I was kind of rolling into the other issues I was talking about. Downsizing presents that excellent opportunity to declutter and let go of these unnecessary possessions. Oh my goodness. What do you... It's a dilemma. What do you think is unnecessary possessions? All the things that you've gathered over the years, like the memorabilia from the children when they were younger, the photographs that you've got still, and they're not online, the toys that they had when they were younger, all these different things. Yeah, all these different things that you had. And some people have hair clippings from their children when they were younger, when they were babies and stuff like that. And all these, and the wristband that goes round in the hospital when they're in the wee trolley next to you, the actual, you know why I'm talking about this, because this is what we've got. And then I'm thinking about, how do you downsize from that? How do you get rid of these possessions? Because you don't want to get rid of them. So how on earth do you decide what you're going to get rid of and what you're going to keep and what to do? Well, we've done loads and loads of blogs and vlogs on decluttering before, and you can see them on our YouTube channel, on the Fife Properties TV YouTube channel. So if you type in decluttering Fife Properties, it'll probably more than likely come up with that article for you. And you'll see the show as well. We talk about this. But one easy one and a I'll change my teeth. A simplistic way. I was going to say minimalistic. There you go. I've said it without even trying. A simplistic way is to approach and create more organised and stress-free living environment for your Fife home, is to declutter and let go of these unnecessary actual possessions. So you can actually start off with having 3 different boxes. One is, I'm definitely keeping that. Another is, I'm definitely getting rid of that. And the other one is, in the middle, is, oh, I'm on the fence with that one. So separate everything into that first. Now, if obviously your box is going to be massive because you've got a huge amount of stuff to go through, then just put stickers on. You know, use a red, an amber, and a green. So green is, yep, we're good to go. Red is, we're getting rid of. And amber is, we're thinking about it. Now, once you get your reds, and that's yep, that's good to go, you can get rid of these. You've got your greens, yep, that's good to stay. And then you take the amber box. I've got the amber stickers, or the box in the middle. I've got, you know, this is maybes. You can then go through that again, and you can do the red, amber, and green again with the same box. Or maybe actually just get to the point and take the amber box away on that occasion and just put red and green and make a decision, one or the other, with that amber box that you've got left. That's how to do it clinically. And think to yourself as well, how long have you had it? Have you ever used it? Have you ever needed it for anything? And how, you know, when was the last time you saw it? These sort of things. I've got Glastonbury memorabilia coming out of my ears for the 7 years I've been at Glastonbury. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what's going to happen to that when something happens to me? It's like, it'll probably just get chucked in the bin. So, and when was the last time I looked at it? Do I really need it? That's the sort of thing you think about. So that's how to declutter and simplify. And I'm just using my own personal examples in this occasion. If you know anybody that would be actually, you know, considering downsizing, then tag them in this or share this post to them as well. This could be actually quite beneficial to them, because I do see it all the time where there's a lot of people considering downsizing and they just don't know where to start. It's just so overwhelming because more than likely a downsize comes after you've stayed in a property for maybe 30, 20, 30, possibly even 40 years. And to even contemplate the thought of, oh my goodness, where do I do all my stuff? It's so stressful that you do need somebody to come along and just have a chat to about it and how to go about it. But you do need to start early considering how to do it. So it doesn't become all at once and overwhelming. It just becomes a natural flow over the years of a journey to acceptance. Let's put it like that. Downsizing is really a journey on to acceptance. And that journey for some people could be 6 months. For other people, it could be 5 years. So this is why often when you get to, I would say the other side of 50, other side of 60, definitely, then if you've got a big house, then downsizing is probably the best option to start considering right now. Hey, listen, at the end of the exercise, if you've decided, no, I'm just going to stay in the house because I like where I am right now, then fantastic. It is the right decision for you. But all the benefits that come out of that are quite huge in comparison to all the benefits of actually staying where you are right now. And I do mean things like financial, and I do mean things like resources as well. Financial is a big one. It's the ongoing running costs that most people can't handle when they come to downsize or possibly retire. It's because they've still got to maintain big gardens, they've still got to maintain a house, they've still got to clean all the time, and they don't have the quality of life they've had before because they've been able to have that finance coming in because they've worked full time and they've been able to pay somebody to do that, or they've had their health in order to do that as well. So that's why downsizing is quite important to consider it early on rather than leaving it to the last minute, or even rather than leaving it to the point where your children actually come to you and say, do you not think you should downsize now? And it almost becomes somebody else's telling you what to do, which again is like, wait a minute, I've been in control of my whole life of me and what I do, and what's going on now? It's somebody else is telling me what to do. That's where it can get very stressful and very confusing for a lot of people when they're ready or they're considering downsizing. So decluttering and simplifying. The sixth one for me is maintenance considerations. Now I've talked about it and I've mentioned it a couple of times. Consider the level of maintenance required for your current home and weigh it up against your desired lifestyle. There's a real key driver. While everybody, when they consider downsizing, looks at the massive obstacles they've got to overcome, and it is the, where do I put all my stuff? How do I go about selling my house now? Because it's like been about 30 or 40 years, or even 20 years. It's like, wow, it's just a new era. It's digital, and it's, what do I do? Where do I start? Who do I speak to? Where's my titles? What solicitor do I get to help me? What estate agent do I get to help me? How do I get my photographs done? What do I do with my home report? How do I get an advert on social media? How do I do all that? Well, the great thing is you don't need to worry about that because we do all that anyway, and we walk you through that whole process. But that's by the way, that's where it becomes overwhelming and just beyond, and it is really, really stressful. So considering what to do is, in order to not focus on that just now, is focus on where you want to be and how good that's going to be when you get that sort of lifestyle. So when you do downsize, you've worked out, I want a 2-bedroom bungalow. I potentially want it so I can go up in the attic if I really need to. We'll have lots of grandchildren later on. This is me planning. Sorry, Tony, Ben and Scott. This is me kind of thinking out loud about what I'm thinking. So is there a possibility we can go upstairs into the attic if we want to, but we've still got our 2-bedroom bungalow? We can do all one level living here, which is perfect as well. These are all the things you've got to think about. We'll have an easier back garden to maintain. So when you see all the big massive plus points about what you're doing, and then also the fact that you probably have less a council tax bill, you'll have less in utility bills, you'll be easier access to some of the main facilities because you've maybe moved closer the high street, or maybe to the local hospital or the health centres, or the countryside. Maybe that's where you want to be. So or a bus route, or anywhere you want, or visiting your family and your friends. So these are all the things you've got to think about, all the bonuses that you're going to get, and write them all down. Then weigh them off against the negatives about, what the downsizing would mean. And I'll guarantee you, more than likely, the benefits will far more than outweigh the downside downside of doing it as well. So it'll make it less stressful for you, because you know why you're doing it now. If you know why, you'll find out the how. That's classic example. If the why is big enough, the how will happen as a byproduct. If the how becomes too big than the why, then sometimes it's off-putting, and people actually put off downsizing for years and years and years, to the point where it actually becomes so overwhelming they don't do it at all, and then they're stuck exactly where they are, and they just don't know where to go next and how to move forward. And that's where the stress kicks in. You don't want to get to that stage. You just want to plan for it now, and just talk about it just now with your friends, with your family, with your estate agent, with your solicitor. All these different people could help you. If you've got an accountant, because it maybe is a financial concern, if you've got a financial advisor, if you've got a pension manager advisor as well. These are all the people you need to think about and talk to, and just see what their thoughts on where you are as well. So there's lots and lots of things to go through and talk about, but you'll know yourself personally where you need to go next with that. Don't leave it till last minute though. So the smaller Fife property, in other words, downsizing, might offer convenience, a reduced upkeep, as I've said, giving you more time to enjoy your newfound freedom. Maybe you just want a smaller place so you can actually go and travel the world a lot more. You don't need to be back there all the time, and you can just choose in the winter time to go out to somewhere like Spain for 3 months, go maybe somewhere else for another 3 months, and then appear back for the summertime in the UK and Scotland, where you are right now. That's the sort of things you want to do. That's quality of life for most people. And you can, if you plan that right, that can happen, definitely. No matter what your budget is, if you plan it right, it can happen. The seventh one for me is, clearly you need to speak to someone about it. Now, in terms of us, in terms of what we do and how we would take part in that, are more than likely, I've hopefully just explained all that, and I've actually relayed that information in the correct manner, in order, and you would say, okay, it actually makes sense to go and speak to Jim at Fife Properties, to Perry at Fife Properties, and see what their thoughts are, because they've got years of experience, but more years of experience of talking to other people in exactly the same situations as you, and actually knowing how to provide the solutions for them. And we have the experience of that. Now we're able to use that wisdom that we've gained and actually make it so much easier and stress-free for you. So we can let our dedicated team, this is what we're here for, this is what I'm here for, this is why I'm talking to you right now, for that very reason. Let me guide you through that process. Let us guide you through that process. Let us ensure it's a smooth transition to your next dream home, whether it's going to be in the next 6 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, even 5 years. There's never a time to not start talking about it. In other words, talk about it now. Don't put it off to tomorrow, because tomorrow never comes. Do it today. Anyway, bye-bye for now, and hopefully that's helped. If you need any more information, just message me direct on this post, or stick something in the comments. Until next time, guys, I'm Jim Parker for Fife Properties TV.